Hey, it's Dan Morales, and this is Homebuyer Radio. This is episode number 92. Hard to believe that we've already done 91 episodes of this podcast. In all honesty, I find it hard to believe that I can keep finding things to talk about as part of this podcast. But my 27 years of lending, there's one thing that I've learned is that I've never seen it all, right? I continue to see, things in this industry that amaze me. And I continue to see clients find themselves in jams that were avoidable had they chosen to work with the right people up front, or had they just done their homework, right? So often, people, wait till the last minute to get into the bank. They get out and they go start looking at properties and they don't do, any homework as to the financing, right? Hey, I'm going to go look for a property and I'll worry about getting pre-approved when I'm ready to write an offer. And I see realtors who, almost promote that, right? They'll wait to the last second, to get their clients pre-approved. If your realtor is showing you a bunch of properties and you're not pre-approved, that's a good indicator to me that your realtor lacks the experience necessary to properly serve you. You should not be looking at properties unless you've gotten a pre-approval. And if you are, you're setting yourself up for a problem. I see this all the time. Hey, let's go look at properties. They contact a realtor. Realtor goes out and starts carting you around and showing you properties, and then you come into the bank and you find out that you can't qualify, right? I just had a conversation with a really good realtor yesterday, and she was telling me about a transaction that happened in her office with another realtor where the people were quote-unquote pre-approved from another lender. They went out and looked for houses for 2 months, got an offer accepted, and then they got denied. Okay, so, last week I talked about, why you want to work with a good, seasoned realtor who knows what they're doing and has experience, right? Because that good, seasoned realtor is going to make sure you get to a good, seasoned, quality lender that knows what they're doing so that you have a rock-solid pre-approval. That pre-approval process, in today's world, everybody wants everything really fast, right? Like, hey, I just saw an ad on TV for a mortgage company where I can download their app and I can put in my information and I can get pre-approved in like 5 minutes, right? Well, let me tell you, I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock in that pre-approval, and I can tell you that most realtors don't put a lot of stock in a pre-approval from that company either. A lot of times, if you have a pre-approval from that particular company, you'll find that a lot of times realtors will discount your offer because of that, right? What they're looking for is they want a pre-approval from somebody that they know, they trust, they recognize, that they know is going to actually get the job done. I can tell you that we've recently had multiple clients who have won offers. Their offers have not been for the highest price, but they've won those offers because we were the lender on that transaction. And our reputation in the marketplace is such that we're highly respected by the realtors, and they know that if they have a pre-approval letter from us, that transaction is going to close. And that's like money in the bank. Because when we do a pre-approval, we actually verify your income, your assets, your credit. We do, I like to tell folks, we do about 75% of that mortgage process because the other 25% that still needs to be done is stuff that's tied to the property, right? Like the appraisal, title insurance, and that kind of stuff. Those things we can't do until you have a property in mind. But we certainly can verify, income, assets and credit and all that other stuff so that we've got a really good head start on the process. And that means we can close faster. That means that you have a rock solid pre-approval and you know exactly what to expect. So, don't screw around with this process, okay? Get in, get pre-approved, get everything lined up. Make sure that you know what you have to work with before you go out there and you start looking at homes. If you have a realtor that's letting you do that and you haven't gotten a rock solid pre-approval, then you're probably working with the wrong realtor, okay? The other thing is if your lender has not asked you for proof of income, they haven't verified your income, they haven't verified your assets, they haven't asked you the hard questions, your pre-approval is probably not a pre-approval. First of all, it's probably at best a pre-qualification, and you may or may not be able to get a mortgage because a lot of times people make the assumption that, hey, every lender is created equal, everybody knows what they're doing, that's just not the case, right? It's like if you were sick and you went to a doctor, not every doctor is created equal. Some doctors are really talented. They're really good at figuring out what's wrong with people and being able to properly diagnose what's wrong with them. And there's other doctors that are maybe not so good, right? And they don't know what's wrong with you. They can't figure it out. That's true like in every industry, right? In our industry, You have the people like myself who have done this a long time. We know what we're doing. We've dealt with very complex transactions for borrowers and have been able to navigate through really tough deals and get people closed. And then there's other people that don't have a clue of what they're doing. I would say probably on a typical month, 25 to 30% of the loans that we do are loans where the people were turned down someplace else. They got here and we got them closed. And, had they just gotten here right from the get-go, it would have been a much easier and faster process for them. They would have had a lot less frustration and things would have gone a lot smoother. Where, oftentimes we're scrambling to fix the mess that started someplace else because clients were told something that wasn't true, wasn't accurate, or something that was just wrong. Okay, so it really matters to work with people who know what they're doing, whether it's, like we talked about last week, working with a realtor that knows what they're doing, or, talking about this week, working with someone like myself, right? If you need a mortgage, hey, I lend in pretty much all the 50 states. We offer, mortgage products in pretty much every one of the 50 states. Now, we don't offer every product in every state, but we do offer the majority of them in the majority of the states. We'd love to have the opportunity to work with you. You'll find that, I know what I'm doing, okay? Different than, probably most of the mortgage people out there. I actually have a clue of what I'm doing, and we're going to get things done. And if you have a unique circumstance or something that, needs to be worked through, we can work you through that process of what you need to do to be able to get to the point where you can, be a homeowner. So again, my name is Dan Morales. Hey, do me a favor. Could you go on iTunes and write a review for the podcast? If you could write a review and leave us a 5-star review, that's just really helpful. It helps us to get moved up on the ladder in iTunes, and it helps more people to discover the podcast. And, if you enjoy the content in the podcast, do me a favor and share it, right? Share it with your friends, family, anybody who, may be looking to buy a house and or in need of a mortgage. This is kind of a labor of love. And, obviously, we're hoping to generate clients out of this as well, too. So it helps us to kind of get the word out there and just get in front of more people. So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it. Again, my name is Dan Morales. You can find me online at danmorales.com. That's DANMORALEZ.com. Phone number is 616-931-4629. My NMLS number is 709729. And of course, Northpointe Bank is an equal housing lender.